Fela Kuti instigated reforms in Nigeria. Falana explains what Nigeria must follow if we want a true transformation. Please don't forget to give us a thumbs up, subscribe if this is your first time. We all know our very own brother Fela, somebody who I will call him an activist. Musicians in those days, not now, most times their music was to suggest and to point the country in the right direction in some of the things that were going on and to call the government attention to some things that were not right in the country. Today we have different set of musicians. Anyway, Falana said we should go back to the drawing board. Let's get all the details. Human rights lawyer and activist Femi Falana's son has said that the late legend musician Fela used his voice to push for needed reforms in the country. Falana stated this on Monday during the Fela Debate Symposium themed The Nation Question, Evolution or Devolution, held in Ikeja. He said Fela sang about sorrow, tears, and blood, which speaks about torture of the police and military. It was not until 2017 when the Anti-Torture Act was enacted by the National Assembly. Under that law, a police officer who tortures anybody should be prosecuted and penalized and be in jail for 25 years. We must thank Fela for that. His voice brought about that change. Under the 1963 Constitution, the government was not liable for any atrocity it committed against Kuti's family. However, that is no longer the rule. Under Section 6 of the 1999 Constitution, the government, under the federal, state, and local, can be brought to book and taken to court. I want us to realize that these are reforms incited by Fela and other focus in Nigeria. As a lawyer and activist, Dele Fatomi, who spoke at the event, faulted the Nigerian structure and said the country cannot evolve or things would have been better. Evolution is a natural process of emergence, while devolution speaks to the decentralization of power and delegation of power to the lower authorities. These two things are incoherent when it comes to Nigeria because Nigeria is not an evolution phenomenon. It is a product of the immense relationship between the British and the several ministers in the places called Nigeria. And they were all homed together. They don't talk about the devolution when a country has been stitched together on very clear terms. One of such is the devolution of power between the federal government and the region, he said. An educationist and politician, Mrs. Ariola Olako, said citizens involve participation. We know that in 1999 Constitution, it does not recognize women as it should, and that is what we have been fighting for, that the Constitution should recognize us, women, youths, and people living with disability. We the citizens all have to be deliberate and not believe that things will just change with a magic wand. We have to work at it. The Secretary General of the Lower Niger Congress, Tony, said, let us rule out devolution because you are talking about where there is power to give to the constitutional element. But in a federation, it is the constitutional unit that denotes the power that goes to the central. To think that the federal would give this to states or political zone is a misunderstanding. What we are discussing here, the revolution that is solution of the problem is only taken from the perspective of evolution. The Afrobeat singer Seun Kuti said, what Nigeria needs is revolution, but not the mainstream definition of it. I believe that revolution is ideology in action, not just because you are angry. Nigeria is a manifestation of our collective consciousness, not about the evolution or devolution. If you like, devolve power to the poorest man that has been suffering all his life He will use his past suffering to justify why others must suffer. So it's a reorientation. And that's what we are talking about. How people have used their voices in the course of history to effect change. Previously in Nigeria, you dare not, I mean, the police can do whatever they want to do and get away with it. But do you know that those days will come back again where people will have rights and be able to speak and be able to make effective change? What's happening in Nigeria is not acceptable in any way, form, or kind. We cannot keep quiet and pretend that it's acceptable. Do you know it's not acceptable? Let's not feel that because they keep oppressing us, that it has become a way of life, is what should be. We have no choice. We have to accept it. We don't have to accept it. I repeat, we don't have to accept it. You have a choice to say no. I do not subscribe to this. Although there is oppression, yes, it is there. It is there, but we must continue to effect and consciously, stand on our position why we want what we want. If we don't emphasize it, they won't take us seriously. You know, under democracy, if the government does wrong, like the NSAS thing, they can be taken to court. But what has happened? Those who are there are lies. There are those trying to cover up, what has happened, and a lot of things casting shadow in that very matter, not just that matter, on other issues currently predominantly covering the nation. In today's democracy, Nigerians can no longer go out to protest. Look at what the police are already saying, that they are going to suppress and make sure that anyone who comes out for the NSAS issue will be dealt with. In fact, the person will forget that he has a hand or he has a leg. That's how bad things are. There is no true expression of who people really are standing up to defend themselves. You can't do it anymore. That's how bad it is. And they tell us we're in democracy. Yet those that should speak are not effecting, and they are lawyers. They are in politics. They know the law. They've attained the highest cadre in government. Yet they don't effect the change that should really be and what people should really, what should really happen. They rather just keep quiet and say nothing, which is bad, which is very bad. Leave us a comment. We really love to hear from you. Please don't forget to like us, share, subscribe. Click on the notification button so you can get all our latest news. God bless. Bye for now.